When I was in my 30s, I had an epiphany. I realized that the only things I really regret are the things that I wanted to do but was too scared to do them. I made the choice to do something every year that I wanted to do but was too scared to do. I started with learning how to play the piano, and this was significant for two reasons. First of all, I started paying for lessons, and I'm really cheap, and two, I wanted to learn how to play the piano, so I did begin. Since then, I've taken voice lessons, gone to a foreign country for the first time ever, alone. I drove my children, my father-in-law, across the country, all the way to Georgia from Utah and back. I have climbed a climbing wall. I went to take photography classes. I decided to go to BYUI, and so far I've gotten a certificate, an associate's degree, and I'm 5 classes away from receiving my bachelor's degree. I've traveled around Europe, and in short, the world has been open to me in many ways that I only imagined before. My friend Trevor Irish is a therapist, and he told me one day that fear is the greatest robber on earth. I have proven this throughout my life. It's why I didn't go out for cheerleading in high school and many other experiences that I could have had when I was younger. Now, fear is a learned response. According to an article from psychologicalscience.org, fear can be learned through direct experience with a threat, but it can also be learned via social means, such as verbal warnings or observing others. Research has shown that the expression of socially learned fears shares neural mechanisms with fears that have been acquired through direct experience. Now, it's worth pushing yourself through your fear to accomplish what you've always wanted to do. I'm going to go through 3 different ways that it affects your body to push yourself. First, we'll look actually what happens inside the brain as you're trying to do something that scares you. And then we'll look at how it affects you mentally. And lastly, the long-term effects. Now, let's look at something that happens to you physically as you're doing something that scares you. As my friend Trevor explained to me, I have a friend, and it's his wife, and she's deathly afraid of heights. And they went on a trip to Belize. And in Belize, there are ancient pyramids, and she didn't want to miss the chance to climb those pyramids. So she began climbing the pyramids, and inside her brain, the neurotransmitters begin to be bathed in the dopamine and serotonin. And this is what causes a flight or fight mode in our brains. This is the feeling that you get when you're scared and you want to either fight or run away. Now, she was able to look beyond her fear and continue to climb even as she was scared, but she was very cautious. And as she reached the top and began to slowly look around and enjoy the view and take the pictures, she had all those neurotransmitters still being bathed in the serotonin and the dopamine. And this, instead of the fight or flight mode, it now began to be a feeling of euphoria. And euphoria is a feeling of intense excitement or happiness. And as she's looking around, she's feeling this feeling. And then as they started coming down the pyramids, one of the members of her party was hurt. And so she really started to slow down, and she was going very slow down the mountain. But her neurotransmitters were still being bathed in those hormones, and she was, I'm sure, sweating and shaking a little bit, and her breathing was probably a little erratic, and she kept going down. And she made it down, and again, she ended up with a second feeling of euphoria for actually finishing her goal that she had. Now let's look at what it does for you mentally. According to Dr. Rob Bell, a mental toughness coach, there are 5 reasons to challenge yourself to do more. First of all, it will help you build confidence. The more that you challenge yourself to do more, you'll learn to trust yourself more. 2, you'll learn to grow into your personality. When you push yourself and make decisions that do not make you uncomfortable, that means that you will give yourself new goals and different perspectives, new habits, and ultimately become the person that you want to be. Number 3, know that you did your best. Living a life full of regrets will tear you down. Life is either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You do not want to look back and think, if I had only pushed myself a little harder, who knows. 4, take control of your life. Prove to yourself that you are in control of your life and that your decisions are the ones that shape your life. Now, you have more control in your life than anyone else. With the help of your Heavenly Father, you can create someone that you and He will be very proud of. Now, the fifth reason He suggests is you're going to be positive and share that positivity with others. Now, my son Caden, when he was 12, went to Civil Air Patrol encampment. And it's basically a boot camp for kids. They had to get up before the sun was up and do physical training. They did leadership trainings. They had strict rules for everything from eating to showering. They marched and drilled all day long. And after that week, he was changed. Now, when he was scared to do something, he stands up straight and he says, it can't be as hard as encampment. Then he pushes through whatever it is that is scaring him at the time. He will tell you that he thinks that every young man should go to encampment. Fear can help you physically long-term as well. Heidi Godman from Harvard Medical School suggests more long-term health benefits. She has a friend named Betty who's 88 years old. She's still mentally and physically strong and is able to take care of herself. So what makes a difference in her life that she can do so much in comparison to some other people? Well, Betty is always learning new things and staying busy with friends and favorite activities. This is exactly what the experts say can help our thinking skills stay sharp. Now, cognitive and social engagement have been shown to be protective against cognitive decline, whereas hearing loss, depression, and social isolation are associated with cognitive decline, says Dr. Catherine Papp, a neuropsychologist and instructor in neurology at Harvard Medical School. Now, in the 1990s, up until the 1990s, we thought that we were born with the amount of brain cells that we were going to have in life, and that we had no chance to change that at all. But we're now finding out that we know that the growth of new cells, a process called neurogenesis, occurs throughout life, even in older age. And it turns out that the human brain has a great potential for something called neuronal plasticity, or in other words, being highly malleable. It appears that challenging our brains, for example, by learning a new skill, leads to actual changes in the adult brain. It may create new connections between brain cells by changing the balance of available neurotransmitters and changing how connections are made. So what can we do now to help our brains in the future? So we can start with many things, which would be like brushing your teeth with a hand that you don't usually use, or listen to a new kind of music, do 60 seconds of exercises. So 60 seconds of jumping jacks can make a difference. And then you can also start to challenge yourself by doing some things that scare you. So maybe learn how to play a new game or sports, painting, watercolors, oils, any of that. Maybe learning an instrument, learning a new language, maybe write a short story that you've always wanted to write. Now, I used to think that I was just a mom. But now I know I'm capable of so much more. Being a mom was great, but that there's more to life. And we so often sell ourselves short of our true potential because we're afraid of one thing or another. We allow ourselves to make up excuses as to why or why not we should not do something because we're scared. Challenging ourselves to achieve a level greater than what we expect is beneficial not only to our mental health but also our physical health as we conquer challenges that stand in our way like roadblocks, refusing to allow our passing. We find confidence in ourselves. And that was a paragraph from the Importance of Challenging Yourself article. I bet right now that you're thinking of something that you have always wanted to do. And as Nike says, just do it. Do not let fear stop you. It is time to do something that scares you.